Namaste everyone, it's Chris with Silent Flute, Ninth Limb, and this is a quick tip on your retentions during your pranayama. And I haven't yet gone over particularly detailed explanations of how to use bandhas. Bandhas is a awareness of your consciousness around a joint space, that there happens to be many muscles that are crisscrossing, pulling in different directions. So it, as a side effect, will co-activate and stimulate many muscles around a joint space. That's a common definition for bandha, is co-activation of muscles around a joint space. However, chances are that if you engage the muscles like mentally, like you contract the muscle, it's too much, and it will overwhelm the sensation of the bandha. The bandhas, for the most part, especially when we're dealing with pranayama, is in the meridian. There are bandhas in the shoulder, in every joint essentially. Your hands, your elbows, they have bandhas. But to start to begin to feel and experience this energetic sensation, and I put it in paren because it's a bit intangible, and if you haven't experienced it, hold on, let me turn this camera up slightly. Sorry, that didn't really do much. There. If you haven't experienced, this camera is super crooked. I don't know how to correct it, it's just gonna be a little slanted. So what was I saying? If you haven't had the experience, that energetic experience in yoga, it might not make sense to you. You might not have the reference. So I'm going to give you a tool right now that you can use. If you've been doing any pranayama practice, whether it's the Vishamavritti that I've shown, or the the Ujjayi pranayama that I've also shown, any retention, anytime you do that, you can do it on the exhale retention and hold the exhale retention. But especially if you're just learning, I would really recommend stay away from external retentions, only do internal retentions. And as I retain the inhale, then I tuck the chin as far as comfortable. It doesn't even need to be very big. You're actually looking for a flexion at that joint space between the atlas, which is the first cervical vertebra, and the cranium, the head, the skull. So you want to feel the sensation of the flexion there, which is a forward bend. I take my chin all the way to my manubrium, but I also have a very flexible neck, so you do what's comfortable. The key is the internal gaze. You know how, like, if you have your eyes closed, you can kind of look to your hand, you can look to your belly, like you're looking internally. I can look to my nose, but I'm not seeing these things. I might imagine an image, and so I see the form, but I'm not actually physically, my eyes aren't seeing it. It's an internal proprioception, an internal gaze. And so that internal gaze, direct it down the spine, starting from the medulla oblongata, which is the brainstem, essentially, where the spine comes into the head. And from there, gaze down the spine all the way to the tailbone and the pelvic floor, if you can. And you can go up and down as you're gazing. So it's during the retention, an inhale, a tuck the chin, and you don't need to worry about doing anything else. I'm in the process of recording a pranayama DVD product. Not a DVD, just a program, I suppose, a compilation of progressions and exercises that will, actually it probably won't include any bandhas, so I basically just pitched that for no reason, because it's a whole subject in itself, the bandhas, and that would involve mudras, and mudras is its own course. So, inhale retention, tuck the chin, gaze internally, you can even close your eyes, I often do, down towards the spine. When you finish your retention, you lift the chin and exhale. You could be doing this with an alternate nostril breathing, so if I inhale, or if you're doing not an alternate nostril breathing. Let's say I was doing Sitali, which is what a friend of mine called taco tongue pranayama, where you do like this and you breathe in through the mouth. I retain and then tuck the chin and gaze down to the pelvic floor from inside the spine. So I hope you found this tip helpful, and I'd love to hear your experience with it, so please comment below. Subscribe to my channel, and that's it for today. Namaste.